Hey, hey, what's going on? What's happening? This is Introvert Boricua. Just coming up with an impromptu little live stream. This may not take too long. Hey, what's going on, Jose? Something really quick that I wanted to start with is that something that I have been noticing for some time, and I'm sure that plenty of people have already talked about this, and they have had their own their own opinion about the subject. Uh, is the whole thing about the passport bros. Now, this is something that I want to make a couple of clarifications. The first thing is that I will never ever tell anybody not to travel. Uh, the other thing, the other thing is that me possibly sounding like I could be having an objection about it. It has nothing to do with uh, it has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with that. So before somebody tries to say like, "Well, you should have said something before when white guys were starting to go to our countries to your to your homeland and all of that." Okay, that no, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, it's not like I have been on a platform like this for a long time. That's just not being a thing. So when it comes to the whole thing about the passport bros is that I don't care who travels. I don't care about the race of somebody who is traveling. Actually encourage it. I actually will say if somebody wants to travel, if somebody wants to participate in an enriching experience, then definitely they should be able to go out there and travel and see other places, experience other cultures, experience other people, interact with other people. It is an enriching experience. It's something that you take with you. It gives you something to talk about. It gives you something to share with others. You get to talk about something that maybe people that you are not around usually could learn from you, and maybe get the example and get an inspiration for also trying to do the same thing, which is a good thing. I mean, again, it doesn't matter the race. I wasn't raised to care about race. I mean, in my upbringing. What's going on, Morena? ¿Qué pasó? And but the thing is that what I'm observing is that when it comes to these guys, the whole passport bros thing is that they're doing a lot of talking. They're doing a lot of talking. And again, before somebody says, "Well, you didn't say anything about the white guys that have been traveling," but that's the thing. These guys have already been traveling. They keep their mouth shut and they actually make it happen. And they show up to different places and they have better access to resources that allow them to do more traveling and things like that. Good for them. Fine, that's fine. And they're just doing it. They're just actually showing up to the places and having the experience and all of that. Nobody can stop them. You know, nobody can say that they can't do it. And hopefully, if they're doing that, they're not going over there with some kind of a sense of entitlement or superiority, because that's what we don't like. That's what we don't like, particularly when it comes to certain people of European descent. They're coming out of the United States, and they think that they can travel anywhere in the world and act like they own the place and do whatever the hell they want. I mean, that's a different thing. That's what we don't like. It's not that we're jealous or where we hate. Quote unquote Americans just because they're Americans and the Americans are supposed to be so superior. That's not the problem. That's not what it is. The problem is when somebody travels to someplace else and they do it with a sense of entitlement, and that's what they can uh, they can go there and having a sense of entitlement and all of that. Right, right, Morena. They're not doing them a favor. I mean, it's like they were expecting to people to kowtow to them and worship them. It's not. Look, we're not living post Second World War or something like that, where you will see it even in the movies or even in the old in the old James Bond movies. Wherever he went, people were a little too eager to please him and do whatever he said. And that was a little bit cringe-worthy. Maybe that's why I don't really like the old James Bond movies, because wherever he went, at least in the older movies, wherever he went in the world, people were a little too submissive to James Bond, and they were a little bit too eager to do what he said and follow his orders, and too eager to submit to him. And that's kind of like something that, like, no, I wasn't feeling that. I never liked that shit. And they will do that. They will do that when it comes to those movies, and maybe some other certain movies where the American shows up and everybody has this reverence to him. And maybe they're having that notion today that they can do that or traveling to other places, and they might have a sense of entitlement. And that's what we don't like. It's not because we were jealous or hatred. Well, Morena said, well, Sean Connery was fine, though, Ramon. Okay, well, he was the first to play the role, and he might have been among the coolest. But the thing is that the way that he played the role just wouldn't be allowed today, because he will have been called all kinds of misogynist, and some feminists will be complaining if movies like those in those times will come out today. I mean, they have had to tone down in more recent movies. They have had to tone down James Bond's masculinity. That's something that we can talk about. No, but you see, the thing is that, Morena, you are different. You're different because you are securing your femininity and your womanhood. So you see a guy being hyper masculine. It doesn't move. It doesn't move you. It doesn't make you feel insecure. It doesn't make you. It doesn't offend you like that, because you're kind of like a different. I don't want to say a different breed, and it's just that you have a different culture. You come from a different culture, a different upbringing, where Hispanic Latinas are brought up to have a bit of a tougher skin, which is something that I love. That's something that I love. That's why that might be one of the main reasons why a Latina will always be my preference. And there is all this talk about the preferences online. That might be one of my biggest reasons for me to consider the Hispanic and Latinas as my preference, because I can be more myself with them, and that's how I see it. That's how I see it. That's how I was brought up and grew up around and dated eventually. And even with the instances where the Latinas wouldn't be so easy to deal with, but I still knew that in the end, most likely they will have had a good heart, even if they will have had a bit of a tough exterior. But I was willing to give it a try anyway, because the tendency will be that they will have a good heart in the end. I mean, including my beloved sister, because she is the most. She has like the hottest temper ever. But I know that she's a good person nonetheless. And I'm gonna get back into the whole thing about the Latinas in a moment. And but going back to the whole thing about the passport bros, these guys online, um, they are they're talking about, they're doing all this talk that they're gonna get their passports, that they're gonna get their passports, and they're gonna be traveling to these other places, and there are always the same three countries that they are talking about. It's either the Dominican Republic, Colombia, and Brazil. And the thing is that them saying that they're gonna get their passports and they're gonna go to the DR, Colombia, Brazil, and that already tells me two things. That already confirms two things. One, they're already telling you, they're already saying that they don't have a passport. They don't have it. They haven't even gone through the process of filling out the application and paying the fee for it. They haven't been to the post office for that. I mean, these guys apparently they have never been to the post office like that, and that's something that you need to have. Of course, Puerto Rico being an exception, because as you guys know, and somebody who is in the United States and they want to travel to Puerto Rico, then they don't need a passport for that. That's just like traveling to any other part of the country in which you only need to have a driver's license. But that's like the thing that it confirms that they don't have the passport. The other thing that they are confirming is that these guys don't really travel. They don't travel. I mean, they can't possibly travel if they're going to be. They're talking about that they're going to get the passport. That confirms that these guys are not traveling unless they travel to as I mentioned, somewhere like Guam or Puerto Rico or Hawaii. Those might be the only places, because you don't need a passport to go to these places, and that shows me that they're all talk. These guys are all talk. They're talking a lot. They're not gonna do anything anytime soon. So I'm not worried about that, because it can come across. Somebody could say, you're the most for bills you want to pay for it." Well, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that, Morena, because that's not that if you think about it, if somebody's gonna get on a plane, get a passport, get a plane ticket to get to some other country just so they can get together with a prostitute. I mean, like, that's already happening here in the States. I mean, it actually might be cheaper to do that over here. So that part, I hear that a lot, Morena, but I don't know. I don't know if that's something that will be. Let's take the morality out of it. Let's take the morality out of it for a moment, and and because us men have a tendency to be to be thinking in a more on a cost analysis basis. If you think about the cost of doing all of that to travel to another country and hook up with hoes versus hooking up with hoes over here, I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if there that will be cost effective for them to do all that traveling just to get some trim. I don't know if that will make that much sense. Okay, you're saying it is if you start paying attention to what they are spending. Okay, what they're spending? You're talking about amounts of dollars. Okay, and yes, it might be cheaper. It might be cheaper down there, but getting down there is a cost to it. So it will kind of defeat the purpose. I mean, I haven't looked up the numbers, but I'm sure that over here it might cost some, but it wouldn't be as much as what it will cost to get a plane ticket and have a hotel stay in another country. You know what I mean? But then again, it also depends on which country they will be going to. They will realize it's cheaper to stay onshore. Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it maybe they won't realizing at first, but maybe on the long term they realize that if that's all that they're looking for, then they might be better off just staying with what they're familiar with, what they are around usually. And so that's one thing. The other thing is that some of them are talking about that they're gonna be getting their passports to travel finally, because they're talking about getting a wife. Like, really? Are they? Are they? Are they? Because maybe that gives some validity as to what you're saying, Morena. That maybe they're just looking to have some fun with it, and in other places. And again, I will tell somebody to travel, to see other places, see other people, see other culture. It's a great experience and something I wish I could do more of. I haven't been able to lately, but let's see what happens. Something during the next year. I get to go to a different place for a change. Um, but there is also the whole thing about that they're going to be getting a wife now. If that's really what they mean, and if they're doing that from a good place, then that's fine. That's fine. If they can get with a woman from another country, and she is somebody who was raised well, and she has good values, and she's somebody who has a sense of loyalty, and she has a good example of that, then who am I to say that they shouldn't do that? They shouldn't get with somebody from another place who is a good person. And, and not the majority. The majority must just want some pussy. Yeah, well, that's that's something of an impression that one can get. And there are some we have had those discussions before. There have been other there have been in the past, not long ago, where there will be these streams where there will be these arguments and about guys traveling maybe to get some pussy. So there will be some. There are some that are trying to do that. That are trying to just have a little fun. Um, but I'm not against traveling. And if somebody is traveling and knowing other places, and it just so happens that they meet a person, that they meet somebody, they meet a woman on their trip, then it's something that happened organically. It wasn't something that the guy showed up and they go straight to the red light district on the capital of the country that he's in. If it wasn't like that, if it was on a more organic circumstance, then there is nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. Now, something that I do take issue. I do take issue with is like, if they're giving that talk, they're talking about, oh well, we're gonna be getting with the Latinas because the Latinas are submissive, showing that they don't know what they're talking about. That's the first thing. They don't know what they're talking about when they talk like that. Latinas belong to the brothers, and they're submissive and all of that. Okay, they're already showing. They don't know what they're talking about. They have never been with an actual Latina. I mean, the Cardi B wannabe that probably they have hooked up with, that doesn't count, and that's not that's not an accomplishment. That's not a flex. Uh, but there are gonna be certain requirements, and these guys cannot act as if they're not any men in these other countries, because if they're gonna be going to the same three countries that they're always talking about, the Dominican Republic, Colombia, and Brazil, there are men there too. I mean, these women didn't grow up on trees; they didn't sprung out of the ground. So if they're not acting right, then they're gonna get some pushback too. I mean, and this isn't a threat or anything. It's just that you can't be going around and well, hold on. Oh, and you listen, Cardi Bacardi. I'm not, damn, I have never heard her being called that. Apparently, that's where that comes from. That could very well be where Cardi comes from Bacardi. Never thought about that. That's funny. Um, yeah, then getting with somebody like that, or even a diaspora Puerto Rican, somebody like, what is it, Bernice Burgos, getting with somebody like that, that's not a flex. I mean, she looks good, she looks great, but she's not like wife material. She's not. And so they can do the traveling, they can go there and check out things. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. But don't come at us. Don't come at us, Hispanic man, talking about we are taking your women. It's kind of annoying. We're not jealous. We're not jealous because if they really are just going over there to get together with the hoes, that we're not jealous of that. I mean, those guys are opening themselves up to be set up because it happens. It happens. It is not something that only happens here in the States. It can happen over there if they don't watch out. They don't watch themselves. They go down there overly thirsty with their wallet in their hand, and they could they could be setting themselves up for for a bad experience at least. Yeah. So now there is more to this. It's just that I didn't write down like bullet points. This is something that I have to get uh like more of a I have to get more of a discipline when it comes to that. But just in case, I'm gonna put the link in the chat. If maybe Morena, you can come up. You can come up and share your thoughts. Tell me what you think. And whoever else is watching, feel free to hit the link and come on up. Share your thoughts. So another thing is like it seemed at some point like they were trying to antagonize us and telling us because we're gonna give her the BBC, kind of like what certain other content creator talks about a lot and been talking about for a long time. I'm not gonna say names, but so I'm not trying to necessarily second what they're talking about, uh, but there could be kind of like a message that there are certain folks from the same demographic that are actually giving a little bit of pushback, and I got a video that I want to share in which they are talking about that. Let me see. Let's see if I can get it to work. It's better articulated because I'm just being very chill, very laid back about it. But this one has a lot of that energy, kind of like trying to get them to understand. So
I would like to take this time to talk to the Passport Boys. And if you are unfamiliar with who I'm referring to, these are the brothers who have made it a point to go outside the country to find wives because American black women are just too difficult to deal with. They won't submit, etc., etc. First thing I want to ask is why? You do realize women outnumber men 3 to 1. I believe there's 170 million women in the country of America. So you mean to tell me out of all 170 million, you can't find one American woman that is going to give you what you want? With all the dating technologies, with all the dating apps, with the technology, with the internet, you mean to tell me you can't just go across state lines and find you a wife? And second of all, it really doesn't sound like you're going overseas to find love. It seems like you're trying to go overseas, find a woman that you think is dumb, train her up and groom her to be a submissive housewife so you can walk all over her. It doesn't really sound like you're looking for a wife or a love. It sounds like you're looking for a slave that just does whatever you tell her to. But I want to let you guys in on a few things. I watch 90 Day Fiance religiously. Love the show. Love the show. And one thing I see on 90 Day Fiance is that when the people go overseas and they find love and they bring them over here, it doesn't happen just like that. They may be able to get them over here, but they may not be able to keep them over here because that takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of paperwork. Do you have that much time to spend on somebody? And let's say you go through all that and you make it through the other side and she's officially an American citizen and y'all can get married. There's no guarantee she's going to stay here. There's always a chance that a law might get passed where she could get deported. Also, let's say you go over there. Let's say you want to go over there because you fell in love with their country. You do also, again, realize that you're going to have to abide by the customs of that country. You have to throw away all your American shit out the window because in some cultures, they don't believe in PDA. So you can go get a kiss from your wife outside if you want. You might get shot in the face. Also, in some countries, the father gives their daughter away to a man. And the man who wants to marry that woman has to pay a fee. And you don't know what their currency might add up to in $1 million. It may cost like 500 kugels in whatever country you're from, but that might equal out to 50 grand in America. Do you have 50 grand? Also, the way you guys talk about women on TikTok, y'all do realize those foreign women hear you, right? TikTok is not just in America. It is an international thing. And those international women that you want so bad, they hear how you talk about women and how stupid and how ignorant you sound. So do you think they're going to want you? Are you willing to take that L to get rejected in more than one country? And last but not least, there's no guarantee that that person is going to be with you for the right reasons. How do you know that that person just doesn't want a green card to get into America? These are all the things I suggest you guys think about before you guys rush to other countries because you're just sick of black women. That is all.
Okay, I was muted. My bad. So, hopefully you were able to hear what was said in the video. I made sure to share the audio. Hey, Golden Goddess, what's going on? Yeah. What we're talking about has to do with the whole thing about the what's happening with the whole notion of the passport bros. And like I said earlier, it's not a problem of traveling. That's not that's not the thing. That's not the issue. The issue is that somebody traveling, for what reason are they doing it, and if they know what's actually like, what's actually going on. I'm gonna let the first guest. Everybody else, feel free to hit the link and come on the panel. What's going on, Jose?
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How about yourself?
Okay, I'm just resting. This was I had a very busy weekend. Working all 7 days during the week.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Let me see. Okay. You guys were able to hear. Okay, that's good.
Yeah. But the thing is this: there's nothing wrong to go visit a different country and spend some time and maybe meet some people and try to blend in to the country that you're visiting. What gets to be a problem is that we have this whole mentality that we expect everything to happen, to be that's over there in the country we're visiting, to be the same in the United States, and that's not always the case. And also, we have to bear in mind we're guests in their country, so therefore we gotta abide by their rules.
Right, right. And we're gonna get into that, but first I wanna make sure that I welcome our next panelist. What's going on, Morena?
Hola, hola.
Hey,
Hello, Jose.
hey, good to see you here. Thanks for coming up. And I also wanna welcome another panelist that I have in the backstage. Hey, Golden, what's
Hey
happening?
guys, how are
Hola.
you
Hey,
guys?
we're good.
Hey,
We're good. We're good. It's just
good.
that we were kind of
Hi
like
Jose.
going over. Ah, okay. Yes, yes. It's just that we were going over the subject, and now that we have a couple of the ladies joining the panel, you can give us your perspective on it, which is definitely something that I welcome.
Well, for
Well,
me, go ahead.
I was just gonna say quickly before you guys start that it's really funny that you're doing this topic because I literally just finished watching Kim 123's live stream where he was dragging me. I was on a Passport Bros channel and
Mhm.
I was just I was laughing a lot, and then I saw your title and I was like, oh okay.
No, it's just that I have been seeing all of these videos in which it's about the passport bros, and like I said from the beginning, it's not a problem. It's not a problem for me. Somebody who wants to travel, if the passport bros actually want to travel, they need to actually get the passport because many of them notice that they're talking about that they're about to get the passport. They're gonna get the passport, but that already tells you that they don't have a passport and they're not traveling at all. So it's like they're talking a lot. Like actually do it, and that's why I'm not getting it into what the white guys are doing because the white guys have been already traveling for a long time. They have already been doing it, and nobody can stop them. By the same token, passport bros, if they actually get the passports, nobody can stop them. Nobody can tell them that they can't travel, but actually make it happen. Don't be sitting up on YouTube talking about that they're about to happen. Actually do it. That I will respect. That's the part that I find kind of funny. But you were saying,
For me, I came into this YouTube the Travel Channel, right? I was watching the pedo that got busted in Colombia, and from there, I started
oh yeah,
following other travelers. And what I noticed that bothered me because I actually have family that comes from one of those countries is the way they were talking about it. Like it was like a conquest. They're conquistadors, and they're gonna go over there and get some, money, and and we're gonna buy up all this property, and we're taking all their men. Everything that you just said, but they do it with an air of arrogance. That
you're breaking up. You're
It
breaking up
sounds
more than
really
that.
bad.
Yeah. You're breaking up. I'm having difficulty understanding what you're saying, but I think you say something about
I'm gonna
something
leave
that
and
you.
come back. Let me leave and come back.
Sure thing. Sure thing. Yeah, but I did understood part of what she was saying when it comes to what was happening with a certain pedo. I know who she's talking about because when I started getting into when I started familiarizing myself with some of the other channels, they were familiar with a certain traveler, somebody who was traveling to a couple of places. I think Colombia was one of them, and he got busted. He got busted taking advantage of kids. I mean, I don't know how the hell did he get out, but eventually he did come back to the United States, where he had already had a charge, from what I understand, in for the same situation. Actually, something that had to do with abusing kids. Like I don't know
Damn.
how the fuck did he get to have a passport. Let me see if
Yeah.
I can get Morena back in.
How do I
Yes.
sound? Am I still breaking up? I've been having issues with my internet since the company that I used to have is no longer the same company. So
Okay, okay. If you, I don't know if you're using kind of like a wireless device that is connected to your router and try to be close to the router as much as possible, then we should be able to hear you just fine.
okay.
Um,
So you can't hear me
yeah,
now? It's still
I can hear you. I can hear
okay.
you.
Okay. But yeah, that's how I came into the space through the travelers channels, watching different travelers and stuff. And it's just the air of arrogance that I don't like. Like they act like they're doing the women that they're paying for a favor. And honestly, out of all the travelers I've encountered, maybe one or two actually married somebody or actually starting a life with those women.
Okay.
And the you mentioned the submissive part. I mean, when you have to say you want submission and you want a feminine woman, it's like, I don't know, that's a given, right? When you're dealing with a woman. And
No,
submission
because
is not the right word. Submission is not the right word because I don't submit to anybody. It's
yeah,
just
I know. Okay, my bad. Go on, finish up.
I the way the woman is receptive to however that man treats her, right? And you automatically get that what they so-called submission. I don't call it submission because submission sounds awful, right? But you want the woman to be on board with whatever your program is. I guess that's what they're looking for. If you're looking for a woman who stay home and take care of the kids and blah blah blah, then you'll get that. But you have to be a certain type of man to get that kind of a woman, right? And sometimes that involves finances, right?
It's definitely finances. Definitely
right.
Finances. Yeah.
That's why they keep saying that they're getting more bang for their buck over there because of the differences in the values of the money.
Yeah, but if you bring her here, you're back to school.
Exactly.
Want to stay home,
that's the best part of it all.
Yeah.
When she comes back in one's half.
Right. Well, let's say before that, you bring her here, you have some kids, keep her home. So now you're the sole provider, and then she's watching TV and paying attention to everything else you're talking about. And then she's gonna realize, like, wait a minute, I can get my own. And maybe I don't have to put.
It does sound bad. The audio sounds bad.
It's getting bad again. I mean, we were able to hear you just.
I'm going to stay in the chat then because I can't.
I don't know. Try to come back up again. Sometimes it acts right eventually.
It's been doing because I work from home and it's been acting like there's a delay even when I'm working from home. So.
Oh, okay. I see.
Well, now you sound good. What the hell?
Yeah.
I was messing with the wire. I don't know if it's the wire.
Okay, well, yeah, maybe that's what it is. Kind of like messing with the wire.
Is Jose on here, or does he have difficulties as well? Because I haven't heard Jose.
No, I'm okay. I was just waiting my turn. That's all.
Oh, hey, Jose.
No, but look, but the fact of the matter is, first of all, I do sympathize with Morena because everyone knows that I had a lot of trouble with my Wi-Fi connection before I finally able to resolve it. But the thing is, I like to use the term cooperation than submission, because cooperation basically is what it means to cooperate. We need to work together, to make a relationship to function well. Now, there's nothing wrong with dating a woman that's outside the United States. It's just that when it gets to the point when you treat her as a sexual object, that's where the problem is. And treat her as an object, and instead treat her like a human being. I mean, just because they're from a different country doesn't mean they don't have their own morals and whatnot.
No, but there are the types that might go there, and they thought they're having the whole thinking about the submission, like Morena was saying, and I get it. So some of these guys that they don't know what it is to actually having somebody to submit to them and the responsibility that goes with it. And I know that here in the States, saying submission is a bit of a dirty word. I understand that. So I don't use the word submission. When it comes to women, you have never heard me say about if I am with a woman, she has to submit to me. I never talk like that because in my experience, when it comes to dating, I'm well aware that the other person, she's gonna be having a mind of her own. I mean, I'm not gonna be sounding like I'm capitulating to feminism because I hate feminism. well, particularly the modern feminism that actually believes that men should be eliminated. I mean, that I hate that. I can understand a woman being able to making certain decisions on her own and being able to accomplish certain things when it comes to education, career, things like that. Okay, that's okay. That's fine. That's not what I'm talking about. So I
She shouldn't
don't
have to
view.
make certain decisions on her own. She should make all of her. She should have the
Yeah.
right to make all of her decisions on her own as she chooses.
Well, yeah. If she's by herself, I get it. I understand. But if she's actually in a relationship with somebody, then they're gonna have to consult with each other. They're gonna have to
Yeah,
talk things out. You know that. You know that. You are somebody
yeah.
who, if you have a family, then you do understand what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Uh, so, but yeah, there could be that kind of like misguided notion when it comes to the whole submission thing, and maybe they are not aware as to what that means, what that involves on the part of the man, because it's easy to say for a man, I'm getting this other woman from this other country. That's kind of like a mistake that some white guys make when they get with Asians. They have a certain notion about Asian women that they're gonna be these servant-like women, and later on they find out that they were mistaken because these women still have their own minds and they have a lot of requirements. They have a lot of requirements when it comes to the man being able to be like a real provider in the whole sense of the word. I mean, because it may not be just providing for her, but also providing a little something for the family that they left back home. So there is also that aspect, and maybe some of these guys that are trying to get a woman from another country, they don't understand that. There could also be that notion. Now, the guy in the video that I played, he was kind of like using somewhat of an extreme example where the woman could be from a country where the groom still had to pay a dowry for the woman. That's something that you can read about that in the Bible, from what I understand. But he was using kind of like an extreme example in how if the man was to live in another country, he has to abide by the laws of the other country. Of course, he has to do that. But there are certain things that they wouldn't be able to do in public. Well, I know that in Latin America that wouldn't be a thing because we do a lot of what we call the PDA. In Latin America, we do that a lot. Maybe the guy was talking about being in kind of like a Middle Eastern or Muslim country where behaviors like that are not really allowed, and that can get somebody in trouble. But I know that in Latin America, I mean, we are very affectionate. We're very affectionate couples with each other, and they're always one on top of the other and giving kisses and caresses and things like that. That's something that we're very good at it, and that's not something that is done so much here in the States either. But I do get the impression that some of these guys could be mistaken into what they think it is when it comes to being with a woman from another country. They might be misguided with it. But
Delusional.
yeah, they could be. They could be. They could be. It's just that they're
Definitely.
misinformed. They're misguided. They're misinformed, so they can come across as being delusional. Definitely.
I feel like if you can't pull her in America, then you probably can't really pull her in real life over there either. You know,
Absolutely.
it's just because you're an American. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Do
No,
you
because
really want somebody like that just because you're American?
Hell no.
can you say again? I didn't hear.
I said, do you really want a woman like that that only wants you for your blue passport or that green card or?
For the green card.
Mm-hmm.
No man wants that. No man wants that. But there are certain guys that are willing to take the risk, and that's something that even happens to the white guys. Because I'm not just talking about one demographic. There are white guys that have been in the military. We all hear about all the white guys that bring brides from the Philippines or maybe South Korea, and I think in Japan too, because there are bases in all of those places. And maybe it works, but maybe the woman actually had an agenda that she never really revealed.
I was
And there
gonna
have
say they
been
already hit to that. They already know.
yeah. There have been instances in which they thought it was about love, but the woman may have had an agenda, and she wanted to be able to get that green card. So discernment is
Mhm.
important. It is very important for a man to have discernment and ask the right questions and to actually make sure that she is somebody that is going to be him because she wants to, because she needs something from him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of like in the middle with it. Okay, go ahead, Jose.
Okay, but you know something? It will help before they go to these countries that they actually spend some time trying to figure out how things done. I mean, what they can do is, that they can go to videos on YouTube and about learn about the culture, or if they know people that live there, or visited there, they at least have some sort of an idea. The problem is that they expect everything to be catering to them when they visit abroad compared to the United States, and that's not always the case. And in fact, sometimes some of these people are in culture shock because they don't realize, because they have not spent the time to do any research regarding what are the situation going on in the countries that they're visiting.
Hmm.
What's going on, Rakim? Welcome to the panel. Rakim, can't hear you. You're muted.
Yeah, give me 1 second, guys. I'm working real quick. I'm about to join in 1 second.
Oh, okay, no problem.
I was going to bring up that, like I said, that Kim did this stream where he's like dragging me because I went on these Passport Bros channel. But like I'm kind of like in the middle because I really don't care who people date or who their preference is. And I know that Kim tries to push that on his channel, like a American chick thing versus the Latinas or whatever. But at the same time, the anti-American rhetoric is a little bit triggering. You know what I mean? It's given pathetic.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey,
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 Armando,
hey,
what's
Donald.
happening?
Yeah,
Hey,
I just came back from a trip to the Bahamas. I was on a cruise.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's good.
So
That's
one
good.
one
How
thing I
was
got
it?
one thing I got to say for anybody who's lighter complected or anything like that, do not go to Coco Cay because that sun out there up in the Bahamas is a different animal from anywhere in the Caribbean. Because that joint went up and got me dark for a few days also.
Uh,
Yeah, I know.
so you're talking about how the sun was coming down, or
Yeah,
okay, it made you darker skin, right?
yeah,
That's Caribbean weather. That's the Caribbean sun for you. I
I
grew up in it.
know.
I know how it feels. I know it makes your skin itch, but later on you realize that you are like a shade darker. But
Exactly.
that's the Caribbean sun. Absolutely. I grew up in it. I know about it.
I kind of
Mhm.
grew up in it too. Well, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, so what's the topic for today about the Passport Bros? I've been hearing about them, but I'm not really familiar with what they do or anything like that. But to me, it's like, okay, are the Passport Bros are just a bunch of dudes that goes around various countries and try to get with women, or they're just a bunch of guys who have their channel and they're like, okay, we go to different places and they try to uplift the people. What is the story on them?
No, Passport Bros. In concept, there are these guys that are kind of disgruntled with the women here in the United States, with the women in the group, and they're trying to get with women from other countries. It's a personal thing. It has nothing to do with trying to help other people. It has to do when trying to have like a different personal experience with a different type of woman from another country, and when they think that they're going to be able to get along with them better and probably get themselves a significant other, like a real significant other.
I mean, me personally, I don't really see a problem with that, because think about it. If a person doesn't really broaden their horizons, right? Think about, and this is one thing I got to think about. Certain people's like, oh yeah, if you can't get a chick in the United States, you can't get anywhere. Okay, but guess what? Sometimes if a person, stays in the same hood or the same state or whatever the case may be, and they're not successful in getting a life partner or anything like that, why is it that a lot of people are mad because a man or a woman could actually go and get a significant other from another country or anything like that? And they're like, oh, what happened to us? Well, maybe you might have to look, these people who are criticizing, other people that go and they try to get a significant other outside the US, they might have to look at themselves, because
what they do all of the ugly criticism of these guys that are trying to, that at least they talk about trying to go to someplace else to meet somebody, they're just giving them more reason, because they make these very ugly criticisms and they put them down and they insult them and they talk very badly about them and calling them that they're weak and things like that. They're just giving them more of a reason, if they're actually going to do it. Because something that I said at the beginning is that some of these guys, they talk a lot about it, but that's all they're doing. They're sitting up on YouTube talking about it, that they're going to be getting the passports, but they don't actually get the passports, and for the most part. And a year from now, they might be still on YouTube talking about that they're about to get the passport and not actually doing it. They're already telling us that they don't actually have the passports, and they don't travel at all. Maybe they travel within the United States and territories, but that's it. They're not going anywhere to get a woman from another country.
All right, because one thing that I've seen, right, and I'm just like, okay, for all of us who actually have our passports and everything like that, I mean, me personally, when I had my passport, I went to the Dominican Republic. I'll keep it a buck. But then when I went up on the cruise ship, right, what happened is that, I don't know, but whenever we got out to like Coco Cay, which the Royal Caribbean cruise line actually owns, and I went to and then I went to Nassau. When I went to Nassau, I actually went out and I had like a 2-hour tour, 2-hour driving and everything like that. I just stood in the car because it doesn't make any sense to go out. I just went up and ate some fried conch. That was good. I could say that. And then the next day I had like motion sickness because, I guess I was in. I guess the moving was just turning my stomach.
Okay. Yeah. The rocking, the ship was rocking a little bit. Even though on larger cruise, you're not supposed to feel it so much because of the size. It makes them more stable. So unless there was like a real kind of like waves, real waves in the ocean, and it wasn't making the cruise ship rock. That you weren't supposed to feel it so much. But
Yeah,
go on.
I guess it was like the backlash because I was on the port like around I was in the port of Florida like around Tuesday,
Mhm.
and I was just there for like 8 hours, and then we bounced before Ian actually struck Florida. So we was like in Canaveral port,
Oh,
and
okay.
then after that, we went to Coco Cay first in the Bahamas, and then we
Mhm.
went to Nassau. So when I went to Nassau and I took like that 2 hour cab ride or wherever, and you know they were showing places where Beyonce and Jay-Z stay at, where Oprah would be staying at and everything. They showed Atlantis. So we was actually going around all over the Bahamas, to tell you the truth.
Mhm.
And it was actually good. But they were talking about, and then we went through the bad areas where they said it was affected by COVID-19. The rent,
Mhm.
they couldn't even hold the rent out there up in Nassau, Bahamas, and they had like Gucci stores and everything like that out there. I was like, wow,
Okay.
yeah,
I see. All right. All right. So the all in all, the trip was good though. Had a good time.
yeah, it was. I can't have, I I could actually say I will actually take a cruise ship again. The only
Mhm.
thing is, though, I guess I'll have to get a stronger pill because
Mm.
because when I went out there, my wife was like, "Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, we're gonna go take this cruise ship or whatever, and we're gonna take these pills." That didn't work. So, and you know, when going forth and everything, I didn't really need it. But then the waves are so hard, I guess, because of the influx of the storm or whatever the case may be. And you know, it was just dark and raining. So it was like, okay, we was chilling and such, but at the same time, that joint was like, just one day I had that sickness and I had to go to the crew doctor just to get the pills because, like, yo, that was no joke. I was throwing up and everything. I was like, nah, this ain't
Yeah,
right.
yeah. It wasn't something in particular that you ate because it has happened to me when I have trouble. I eat something that I don't usually eat, and my stomach doesn't take it well. I mean, I have dealt with that.
Yeah, but it wasn't even something that I ate. It was just, you
Mhm.
know, the rocking of the boat and such that just made me a little bit queasy.
Well, también, that also, también. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
But if I can just cut in now, when it comes to our friend Kim 123, we're talking about a person who never traveled outside of the United States, and I don't think even traveled outside of his state.
well,
I mean,
one thing I've heard about Chem 123, and even though y'all might not like this person's views and stuff,
Mhm.
um, Zacharias actually exposed that dude.
Mm.
Yeah,
oh really?
yeah,
Huh. Of
because
all people.
yeah, because you know, all right, me and Zacharias, we were actually talking like behind the scenes and everything like that, right? And since he's a little bit older than me and such, I found out that me and him were like in the same Yahoo chat, like via 2001 till 2004.
Oh.
So we were just you know, in the same Hispanic chats and everything like that.
Mm.
So you know, we were just chilling, vibing, and you know, talking about the people we used to diss and everything like that. So it's funny because me and Zacharias, we actually know each other through those chats. When he said his screen in, and I said my screen in, it was, oh crap, we know each other. But besides the point, um, he went up and exposed Kim for being gay because Kim, like he was saying, like back in those days when it was the Yahoo chats and everything, that Kim went up and actually tried to come on to Zacharias, and Zacharias was not with it. So And then years later, he went up and tried to get at Zacharias again. Zacharias was like, I'm not with that. So come on. So that dude Kim, even though he acts like a woman hater, and I see a whole bunch of people making diss videos against Kim 123 because I guess of whatsoever the case may be, and certain people have called him gross. They actually said like, yo, this dude is a fraud. This dude is actually gay, and that's why the reason he's actually hating on women. I was like, wow. I was like, I didn't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of interesting who happens to be doing the exposing of all people. Right, Jose?
Well, you know what? Let's just say, he did an excellent job exposing our friend, and just leave it at that. I mean, I have no beefs or arguments with him, but the fact of the matter is, I'm not allowing anyone that come in my platform that's going to try to take the whole thing and focus it on him and not allow other people to speak.
Got you.
No. I mean, I want everybody to be able to share that experience all day. But there are the types that like to hear themselves talk a lot, and that's not something that I would want here.
Me personally, I've heard more about this Chem dude and those like that this dude Chem from various I guess interviewers or whatever the case may be, or content creators. I guess that's what I call myself now. That Chem 123 has actually is like one of the most hated content creators ever, aside from Queen Matcha the last and all the other people. So it's funny. It's funny because some dude went up and tried to tell me the other day, oh, I got to stay in my lane when I went up and I was dissing Macho. Like, F out of here. I'm not staying in nobody's lane because at the end of the day, if you diss my wife, I don't care who you are. I'm going at you. And I've seen Macho personally. He's a bitch. So I could actually say that. Yeah. I mean, like, dude is a whole bitch because when it was 36th Street up in Manhattan, I was with Jaxia, his lady, and all these other stars. This dude was not saying nothing. It was a whole sea of black and mixed Dominicans around there. You didn't see nothing. I wanted to see how courageous he is. Like, he's supposed to be the defense of Dominican patria and everything like that. He's a dumbass. And it's to the point that I was talking to my homegirl Astrid Rosario. She was like, yo, this guy is so stupid. She was telling me like how this guy be up on Clubhouse on the platform trying to preach that Dominican stuff, and he's like the most hated dude in Clubhouse. So he wants to go and say, yeah, I'm for Dominican patriotism. No, you're not, bro. I mean, like, it's your own Dominicans that's calling you out. You want to say that he's from Washington Heights. We don't see you. You know what I'm saying? Like you could be living in Washington Heights, but nobody knows you. Like, for real. You could go around and say all this stuff about yourself. Nobody knows you, bro. Even my homie that lives in Washington Heights. If I was to go to Washington Heights, I got a lot of people that hate me in Washington Heights. I could say it right there because they think I'm not Dominican or they try to do me wrong and I went up and outed them out. Now, beside the case, aside from the people that hate me in Washington Heights, I got people that actually respect me in Washington Heights. So the people that actually respect me, they actually do their music, they actually have their own movements, and they're making money. So from the dudes that make the money and everything like that, who the heck are you? Who the heck is Queen Macha the last? You get what I'm trying to say? You're nobody. You're just a nothing but a old fart knocker that wanted to talk about, yeah, I'm for Dominican patriotism and everything like that. And I'm a Republican. You're not saying nothing, bro. That's all I gotta say.
Wasn't he one that came up with the concept regarding the Dominican card?
Yeah,
yeah.
but his card is. But the thing is, though, I'm gonna revoke your Dominican card. The last time, this is what I told him: you ain't gonna take nothing from me. So I told him, go take the bandana off my head. Then, if you're so, I'm gonna do this. I'm like, shut up. At the end of the day, you ain't gonna take nobody's Dominican card. The only people that could actually take my Dominican card are, God rest their souls, they're passed away, and those are my parents. So therefore, you have a whole list of frecos that want to go around and try to tell me that I'm not Dominican or everything like that. But at the same time, you got no proof. You can look at my YouTube page. You can look at my Facebook. I put my Facebook out there. None of you cowards actually go around and add my page. So therefore, y'all could go around and talk all this basura. I'm like, come on, bro. I'm telling you what I am right there. If y'all want to go around and be committed to hating me and spreading lies about me, I am who I am. And if y'all can't accept it, go around and eat a dick. That's all I gotta say. Shit.
Damn,
Well,
shots fired.
But you know what, Dynamama, I love it when people talk about how they're influential and what have you, and then you find out that's not the case. I don't want to toot my own horn or anything like that. But you remember when you met me in Philadelphia?
Yeah. Yo. I'll tell you this, and this is one thing, that a lot of people could say. A lot of people, and I'm telling you this because I've seen this with my own eyes. 18th Letter and Ramon. Men and women came to see Jose Negron and it was like, they actually came to him and it was like we was eating and everything, and he was like more of the celebrity than I was. Yo, and it was like, and I looked at Jose, I'm like, yo, people actually respect this man. So for people that want to say whatsoever, he might do his thing in YouTube, but this man is a lot influential. And not to toot my own horn, you saw how many people, like when I was in the Dominican parade, they actually came up and met me. And you met one of my friends, Don Jose, so in the Bronx Dominican parade. So I'm not gonna go around and say I'm that influential, but I'm trying to be. So it's like at the end of the day, you have certain people who are just mad in life because they're not doing what they're supposed to do. And then they want to go around and try to say, oh, you're not Dominican. I'm like, okay, so what the heck you doing? Half of y'all people ain't doing nothing. Y'all want to go around and spit fantasies about, yes, I want to be with the Puerto Rican people who are white and all this other crap. I'm like, I'm like, come on. I'm like, let's put it like this. Like for example, this idiot, Blood Sun or whatever, right? Yeah, Blood Sun. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. She's just messing with you. I don't think she means anything.
I don't know, but she be spitting some ignorant crap, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but she's trolling.
Not towards me, but stuff that she be saying in general just have me laughing. Say, yeah, I like Puerto Rico. I like the Puerto Rican people because they're white. The white part of Puerto Rico. I'm like,
there is no such thing. There is no such thing. I'm like, the white part of Puerto Rico. Right. generally you could say that the part of Puerto Rico that could be considered wider, it should be towards the center, towards the hills, which is a lot of the kind of like the more European Puerto Ricans are located. But you find people of different complexions everywhere. I mean, nobody is contained to one part or the other. Oh, that's funny, but it's funny because it's not a thing. It's not a thing. I mean, you find people
I'm like, you for real? I'm like,
from the white part of Puerto Rico. Yeah, because
yeah,
the black Puerto Ricans are contained in Loíza. In Loíza only. I mean that will sound very ignorant because that's not true. That's not how it goes.
I mean, like I got, like, for example, like I got family in that live up in Carolina, and I got a cousin, her husband, and then two of her children, I think, are here. One of them just married a Marine the other day, and she lives up in Pennsylvania.
Mhm.
So, with all that and everything like that, and me and that cousin was just talking about stuff. I was like, yo, who are you? Because I remember a story of what my pops was saying. And I was just talking about, like, my pops was dead crying just because this cousin was, you know, got into a car accident when she was younger. When I went up and I told her the story, right? She was like, yo, that was me.
Okay.
I was like, wow. And then what was funny is that, well, I'll tell y'all behind the scenes, but I found out a lot of stuff about myself that I didn't know. So, you know, that's
Yeah,
all.
I mean, it's kind of like before we go to 18 letters, so he can have a chance to chime in. There were things that I hadn't seen after my beloved mother passed. There have been pictures and things that I have heard about about mom that only now I have seen pictures that are even black and white when she was a kid that I haven't seen. Sometimes people, beloved people in our lives, pass away, and there are certain things that you learn about that after they're gone, unfortunately, because you didn't have a chance to learn about it directly from the person. But let's give a chance to 18 letter to chime in. What's up, Rakim? Rakim, are you on the road? Can you hear me? Rakim. Okay. Maybe he can come back in. Maybe he's in the middle of something. But
Maybe he's having some problem with his Wi-Fi now.
No, I am not. Mr.
no,
Lopez.
okay, you're on the road. I figure.
Yeah, I'm driving.
Okay.
First and foremost, I want to tell everybody to be extremely careful when you're driving because I'm still in Illinois, and one of the reasons I had to exit out for a quick second because there was 5 police cars, state troopers, zooming, and that I had to get over because it was a car on fire. So people just have to be there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Be careful with that.
Car crash.
Yeah.
Fire. I'm not sure if it was a person in there, but you just have to be very careful when you're driving out here. But how I would chime in as far as with the passport bros, it's nothing, in my personal opinion, it's nothing wrong with going out. But one thing, I think a lot of black men, especially men within my community, we like to ignore that, and I'm going to get to the guys that's irresponsible overseas in a quick second, but I'm speaking to the responsible men and the men that are just happy to go somewhere.
You cut out.
Oh,
okay. You cut out for a moment. Yeah, I can hear you now. It's just that for moments you cut out and we can't hear anything at all. I don't know if something happens with happening with your signal. Yeah, but I can hear you now. Yeah, go on.
Okay. One thing I will say that's important for a lot of black men to understand is that, and I'm going to get to I'm going to get to the irresponsible, people within the passport in a quick second, but I'm talking to the responsible brothers right now. One thing we have to understand, I know for a lot of brothers, you like to go to places, you see beautiful women, women treat you nice in these other countries and, in the islands and everything like that. And I understand that a lot of us haven't been anywhere. And, so it's a new world to us. I get it. But one thing you have to understand is you have to be extremely quiet with what you're doing, because we're living in a country where it's not a lot of people that don't want to see us happy. I think a lot of black men forget how anti-black male this country is. And so when you go broadcasting different things like that, you're dealing with women who want to maintain power within our community. And at the same time, they know that it's not other men that's going to tolerate that. I remember speaking with one woman on a live stream who, she said she was all masculine and everything until she got with her husband, who was 40, and he didn't tolerate any of that.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't tolerate it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not judgmental of people, judgmental of women that have a certain behavior or do certain things. I wouldn't be judgmental, but I would let them know from the very beginning that there are certain things that are not gonna fly with me. And there are certain attitudes that are not gonna fly with me. And if it's gonna be a problem, then the right thing for her will be to let me know. Oh, this is who I am. I'm never gonna change this and that. Okay, I'll move on to someone else because I'm not gonna argue about it. That's not something that I'm gonna argue about. I'm not gonna be pleading. I'm not gonna be keep asking to act right or things like that. I'm just not gonna do it. I mean, I'm too old and I need to save myself the stress. So either
Yeah.
either she takes it upon herself to actually be a better person, somebody who can be more compatible to be able to be in a relationship with a man, or just stay a stud and hook up with a woman, see how that works out for her. I'm not gonna judge, but I'm just not gonna get into a relationship and having to deal with attitudes. I'm just not gonna do it. But go on.
Yeah, I mean, if you actually look at it, I've dated I dated some masculine women back in the day,
Mhm.
and one thing I could actually say is that those masculine women, they actually like that. I don't know. They was like, "Oh, you're not old man." I'm like, "Well, first of all, I'm not gonna hit women. Sorry. I
Yeah.
mean, at the end of the day, you got some you got some women that they just love foreplay, like punching and stuff and everything like that." And I was like, "Yeah, you go that way because God forbid if anything happens and then I get arrested and all this other crap." I'm like, "Yeah, that's gonna
Yeah.
look bad on me." So therefore, they're like, "Yo, you got to do this." I'm like, hold up. Am I dating a dude or I'm dating a female? Like,
No.
I,
Date a female.
yeah,
I only date a female. I don't need. I don't need to be with a woman who is he's dude minded, dick minded.
like,
That
like,
she
like,
acts like as if she has a dick. I mean, I'm not gonna be with a woman like that.
I mean, like, yo, it's funny because in New York, it's like right now, I'm not gonna go around and say that, but I'm just saying from what I've seen, some females they're on that type of time. I'm like, it's to the point that if a guy just trying to feel himself, the female's like, "Yeah, I know you get mad females." I was like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, now give me your number." I was like, "Yo, it's just that serious." I'm like, "Damn."
All right. Let's give a chance to Jose.
Yeah,
Or yeah.
Yeah.
or 18.
Okay. Yeah, but
Go on, Jose.
Okay, but but the fact of the matter is, again, I mean, and I know I sound like a broken record. It's one
All
thing to
right.
go to a different country and try to experience life, spend some time over there, and okay, and you want to meet up with some women, what have you. It's one thing. However, it's another thing if you think that life is going to be the same thing over there as it is in the U.S. You're sadly mistaken. I mean, the customs are different. The way of life is different, and you just have to be willing to accept the fact that you know that you are visiting their country. So therefore, you need to be on you need to just be respectful, because if not, I mean, if you start a beef with someone over there, that's not a good situation. Because I'm sure, like for example, if if someone if somebody's blanquitos, or you know some of these
Mhm.
Americans go to the Dominican Republic and start some crap with some Dominican, you're gonna have a whole bunch of people on that one person being on white on rice.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
let's get this. Let's just get this straight out the from the jump. It's the difference between United States tough and island tough. Okay, it's a very
Hmm.
big difference between
Yeah, it is.
United States tough and island tough. Island tough, you're
Yeah,
talking about real poverty, and of course, you don't want to get into any of the other stuff, but it can get real bad very quickly, especially for a foreigner that's not from there. So I advise you not to take that to the islands or into any other parts of the world without fully understanding and knowing what the consequences may be.
yeah,
Like, for example, I heard that DMX, one of the toughest dudes and everything like that, may he rest in peace. Like in Europe, they even try to kidnap DMX
Mm.
on
Mm.
on on some real stuff. So if they trying to kidnap DMX and everything like that, what they're gonna try to kidnap that man for? And you just enter in the country just to perform and stuff.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that goes to show you that. And don't get it wrong, them Europeans, the European gangsters out there, they they're actually on that time too.
Yeah,
I'll be watching
they
them flicks and such, and they're showing like all the European projects and such. Like, dag, they live worse than us. So
Yeah, yeah.
imagine.
There are gangs out there. There are Russians and Chinese gangs, and there are Eastern European gangs, and so they're on some shit over there too. I mean, just because it's Europe, it's not automatically peaceful. They do have their issues there. Yes.
Yeah, it's like for example, like in certain, if you really want to be like in the hoods up in Europe, you have to be connected. Like say if I'm going to Chicago, I'll tap in with Rakim and other people that I talk to out in Chicago as well. If I ever decide to step foot out there, because if you don't, one thing I could tell you, if you don't act appropriate in the right city or anything like that, this goes anywhere. Or you don't have the right person or show respect to that person,
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, bad stuff will happen.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I would never, when I was in Puerto Rico, I would never go to the projects. There were a couple of projects that I would go in, but that was because I actually knew somebody. That was one of the projects that I would go in, but that was because my girlfriend was living there. So, and so nothing will happen to me because they knew that I was connected to somebody inside. And but yeah, yeah, one has to be careful. Preferably, one shouldn't be getting into places like that at all. But if one has to do it the right way, try to get a connection, try to get with somebody um, that can vouch for you. Yeah, it's just common sense.
Yeah, it is, because at the end of the day, I mean, in San Pedro, I'm good because the whole family's out there.
Mhm.
But then there's like certain areas that I can't really walk through like that in Dominican Republic unless if
Mm.
I know somebody. So if I have to go make my business in the capital, I know people, but then I don't know people. So therefore, I just roll with the people that I stick with, and that's it.
Oh,
But
okay.
so, and then on top of it, like my wife's own family, they're very influential in their town in Bonao. But then I found out that I got family out there too, so I want to visit them whenever I go out there. So it
I
just
see.
it's just a fact that I would love to venture out and everything, but then one thing which is a lot of people don't understand, you have to stick to protocol because not every place is gonna be like your hood.
No.
Because at the end of the day, if you don't got your connections or anything like that, 9 times out of 10 you can lose your life.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
and sadly, that's how this rapper PNB Rock, he lost his life because he was in the wrong place in the wrong time, wearing his jewels and everything like that.
Yeah,
And
you see that the guy shouldn't be doing that, wearing like overly flashy, expensive jewelry in certain places that you're just asking to be robbed. I mean, let's
yeah,
they need to
you're
use
just
common
asking to be
sense.
killed.
Hmm.
You just ask him to be killed. I'm like, yo, me personally, if I know that I have jewelry and stuff, yeah, I'm gonna wear jewelry in the appropriate place. But I'm not gonna be wearing it in the hood. I mean, shoot, there's a whole bunch of dudes that die of getting their jewelry stolen every day. People could say respect, but nobody respects life anymore. You could wear jewelry and then you could have a gun and then you could blast it and then you could still get killed. So therefore, certain people, to me, is this: I could have more hate. I have a lot of people that hate me, right? Because oh yeah, you this, you that. Imagine if I got money and I'm wearing flashy jewelry, the hate will increase. So
Yeah.
my thing is this: if a person want to be safe, just be low key. At the end of the day, nobody ain't gotta know. There's certain stuff that people ain't gotta know. People ain't gotta know your business. People ain't gotta know that you have business.
Hmm.
People don't have to know your financial worth, and people who don't have to know your moves. You make your moves silently. You make your business move silently, and everything like that, and everything will be all right. Certain people they like to go around and flash how they want to go around and flash on camera like stacks of money and everything like that. To me, that joint is actually played out and stupid because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you telling people, "Yeah, I got money." Okay, so since you got money, how many investments you got? How many houses you got? Yeah, you got money, right? So how much property you got? Okay,
No,
so if you ain't got all that, you ain't got power. So therefore, don't talk to me about flashing cash or anything like that. I'm not thrilled about that no more.
no, and you shouldn't. You shouldn't because people are getting killed over that. There was even a story of a female rapper recently that got killed because she was flashing money on Instagram. So, and she was a female rapper, and
Yeah,
also that happened to her.
she got killed. I think like somewhere up in Texas or something like that, Houston. Yeah, I did hear about that. I
Yeah,
was like,
I
wow.
think it was. I think it was. So it can happen. It can happen with females too. I mean, females shouldn't be flashing money, and they shouldn't be flashing too much their ass because on Instagram, that's basically what that's about. Like
I'm,
showing a
I'm,
whole bunch of ass. They could
I
be
mean,
attracting the wrong attention.
it's to the point that I know females, right? Which I'm not going to say their names, that they'll be promoting their OnlyFans on Instagram. I
Hmm.
was like, geez, like,
Yeah.
like you see a whole bunch of. I'm like, I ain't gonna front the females that I know that they look nice, but I'm not gonna go around and pay like $25 just to see that.
No, those
That-
guys are dumb. Those guys are dumb because if
uh,
it were that they could meet the woman personally or something like that at least, but not even that. I mean, they're paying for the privilege of thirsting online. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Mhm.
I mean, it's like, how should I say? It's like prostitution, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. It is. It is. A lot of that it is
Yeah.
because, I mean, just to, she's willingly, these women are willing sex objects. They're willing to be sexually objectified, which is something that a lot of women complain about. But there are a lot of women that are willing to be sexually objectified. They're kind of like whoring themselves out. It doesn't necessarily have to involve sex, but you know what they say about strippers. I mean, strippers, they not necessarily only strips. They do other things for some
I
of that
mean,
money.
I
Mhm.
mean, if you actually look at it, right? I mean, OnlyFans is gonna take out strippers. Let's be honest. Unless that adult side of the industry right there, like OnlyFans is like if you got like if you got your favorite celebrity, showing whatever, right?
Mhm.
And guys are thirsting, and then you see the regular chick on the block or whatever has OnlyFans. I mean, if you actually look at it, most of the people who are on OnlyFans are just incels or dudes that can't really get none. Dudes who make videos all day about how that make racist videos all day that talk about the superiority of Europeans, but yet they can't maintain a
Oh,
relationship with a woman. I
yeah,
mean, those
yeah. Mhm.
types. And then on top, and then what's funny is that you got certain people that they're like, oh yeah, you know, and like it's so funny that there's a guy that who's black and he's actually rating a woman's OnlyFans. I was like, really?
Yeah, yeah, he's outing himself as a simp. I mean, because he's willing to pay just to look. I mean,
Um,
yes,
guys, do you remember that lady who was the president of the Washington chapter of the NAACP,
Yeah,
who
she's
tried to
on
pass
OnlyFans
herself
too.
as black and she was white?
She's on OnlyFans too.
I mean, could you believe that?
Yeah, I can. And I'm
Well,
gonna tell you why I believe that. With all what she tried to do, right? And there's a lot of women that have actually tried to do that after they got some and this is my theory. This is not professional or anything like that, but this is only my theory. I think that Rachel Dozier, right? She went up and actually got got with the NAACP and everything like that. As soon as she saw that a black man was treating her good, you know what I'm saying? So when a black man was treating her good, he was giving her some good meat. She got hypnotized by the good meat. That's when she started calling herself black and everything like that. Even went as far as calling a black man who is not her relative anyway, just to pass him off as okay as a black parent. And she went as far as how should I say, going to the tanning salons and try to have a feature as of a mixed biracial woman. So you have certain people who, if they love a race to the point that they will exclude their own, you have certain people who are like that. It will even go far as certain people calling themselves, like, for example, if a person likes China likes Asian culture so well, they'll actually go around, they call their children China, or they'll actually go meet with the Asian man, so therefore their children could actually have Asian features, etc. So you have certain people who get so wrapped up in a culture that is not theirs that they'll even go to the point of trying to be that culture until they get exposed. So in the case in the case of that going on, I think that's why certain people are trying to come at me because they think, and a lot of people have thought this, and I see a lot of people give me weird stares or whatever the case may be for me putting on my flag and everything. You have certain people that actually think like, "Oh, why the heck you doing that? You supposed to be repping us," or "Why the heck you doing that?" Because whatever, okay, or you're an infiltrator and everything like that. So therefore, I'm getting it from all sides. But at the end of the day, I know who I am and I know what I'm doing. Rachel Dozier is went up and did all of that because she's not secure on what she is. So therefore, they went up and they stripped everything away. So now she's at OnlyFans. So now I'm seeing some of the pictures because they're sharing her pictures on Dominican WhatsApp, and she's actually famous now. So famous on the Dominican WhatsApp. So let's see. Maybe she'll claim that she's Latina now. So
No, she's not. Like she's a whole white woman, but because of how some of us can be, they might give her a kind of like an honorary Latina title because there is such a thing as a so-called Latina with white skin, so they can let her slide or something like that. I wouldn't. She's a whole white woman. Let her stay a white woman. Don't try to something else.
I mean, you want to know something which is funny? It was like, okay, it was a few years ago, right? And I guess it was Spotify. They went up and they made us. It was funny. They made a whole thing, right? And they called Justin Bieber a Latin king, right? It was funny. Spotify actually went up and they had a whole article that they actually called Justin Bieber a Latin king just because he went up and had a song with a Latin artist or something like that. So they went up and say Justin Bieber, Latin king of the chart.
Justin Bieber was in one of the remixes of the songs Despacito. Yeah, he was in the remix. Oh, maybe that's where that comes from.
Yeah, I think so. But there was like they went up and they put him as Latin king. We was like, I have a couple of my homies who are Latin kings. I'm putting that out on record. And we was and it was like, yo, what the heck? Like, where the heck who the heck he put him on?
No, but maybe they call him a Latin king, but not referring to the gang. They were kind of like making it seem like he's Latino and he's elevated to the status of like a king in our community. Not necessarily referring to the gang. No, that would be kind of like a larper or a grifter or a tether. That's what he will be. I mean, he's Canadian. He's a white Canadian kid.
I mean, the thing is though, it's like, yo, he's Latin king of the charts. I'm like, okay, how? Like, okay, I could understand if you had somebody of credibility that they might have on, partial Latin ancestry like that singer Miguel or something like that. But out of all people, Justin Bieber, it's like, okay, you have a whole bunch of celebrities that they go through like this whole thing of this hall of shame where they're doing drugs and stuff. Now they come out and then they want to go and do all that. But yet the ones who are, that just keep doing in the business, nobody, they're not into controversy or whatever the case may be. They just about their career. They seldom really make news, but yet they have more money than half of these controversial artists. And that's the joint that I just want to, and that's just the line that I want to follow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Joaquin, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Ramon.
Okay. Get your word in. We were waiting for you.
Okay, well, one thing I would say, just to touch on what I was speaking about earlier, um, one thing that black men need to understand, us as a group, is that I want a lot of brothers to understand that when it comes to traveling, you know what, if whatever you're doing there to go do, that's your business, but don't put that at the forefront. Don't put that at the forefront. Understand the laws of the land that you're traveling to. Research the country, research the island, and and just you know, be well knowledgeable on different customs and the culture of the island or the country that or the country that you're visiting. If you go looking for trouble, if you go making trouble, if you go looking to, if you want to be a trick, that's your business. It's been tricked since the beginning of time. Prostitution is the oldest profession in the whole world.
Right.
But
Mhm.
just understand that it's a possibility you may get got. And if you go out there broadcasting that you're from America, you have people that are impoverished, and you have some women that are impoverished that may be looking to, come up off of you. Just and just understand that, for the brothers, and that's for the ones who are out there acting the fool. If you're out there in in the DR, or going to different countries and you're acting the fool, you're gonna get whatever that's coming to you. But for the brothers, the good brothers that are out there looking for wives and everything like that, carry yourself accordingly and be aware, because everybody's looking for a meal ticket, man. We're in a world where it's poverty all over, and only a few people got wealth, and some people are desperate to the point that they just looking to, if any way they can come up, they can come up, whether it be a man or a woman in any country. Because truth be told, they don't talk about the passport sisters. They don't talk about these women that's going to Jamaica, or these women that's going to Greece, or some of these women that's going to Colombia, or anything like that. That's taking advantage of men that are in poverty, because
Mhm.
they want they pretty much want to have a gigolo. So nobody talks about these women. Everything is focused on the men. And once again, for the brothers, they need to understand. Look, we not well liked. Be able to feel the energy in the room. Be able to understand that it's not a lot of people that wants to see black men happy. They don't want to see you with a smile on your face. They your misery is how a lot of people measure their lives. So just be very aware of that. And your personal happiness is your personal happiness. It's not meant to be broadcasted for everyone to see, because when everyone sees that, that's when sabotaging come into play. For a lot of women that sit back and say, I'm independent, I don't need a man, or these men are worthless. A lot of them are very pressed about a lot of these men going overseas. So that's all I got to say on that.
No, and that's a good point, because that's not something that is touched on really any of the videos that you hear all over the place. They don't really talk about women also getting their passports and also trying to hook up with somebody, whether it is you mentioned Jamaica, or maybe they go to Europe to hook
All
up
right.
with somebody, or even in parts of the African continent, because a
Well,
lot of European women have been doing that for a long time.
I
They-
mean, if you actually look at it, right? No offense or anything, but
Mhm.
wasn't there a movie that was based on that? How Stella got her groove back. That
Yeah.
actually start,
Oh,
that actually started the trend of
Absolutely.
women.
no,
I just saw.
Women.
not started it. I think that was already going on for a long
No,
time.
that had been going on for a long time. I remember hearing a woman on a live stream. This was a few months ago. This woman was saying, "Oh, we need to get our passports and head to Colombia. I can get myself a Latin poppy. These a lot of this has been going on, man. But the thing
I'm
is to the thing is to look. If black men are not the face of being a monster, who is? We can
I'm
slip and you know we can slip and fall and you know that'll be broadcast in the negative way. So you know,
I mean, the thing is though, it's funny because I remember I was watching it was a film on IFC, right? This was like around 2008, 2009. I don't know the name of the film, but it was these disgruntled European women, right? That they actually went to Haiti just for sex tourism. You know what I'm saying? It was actually it was an actual movie about it, and there was like these women were actually in Haiti. There was like, oh, these guys are racist, but yet I'm like really. But if you actually have the history of Haiti and everything like that, there's a reason why they are like that. You know what I'm saying? They fought the French, and now
absolutely.
and now these women is just using some meat because is using the Haitian men for meat because their men can't satisfy them or nobody wants them anymore. They'll actually go to you will see women that will actually go to the Caribbean and they'll do what they do. And
Yeah,
then
and you know what? To clarify um what Ramon was just saying, I've seen you know white American women in their mid 50s to early 60s going over to the continent of Africa to get one of those guys to marry him. You know, like and, you know, because that's the mentality that a lot of people have that these like when these women know that they can't compete because older men date younger women, they know they don't really have it to compete with these younger women no more. They go into impoverished areas in the world to go get men that they know that are desperate and that are going to that they're going to be able to give them a little something for a little something else, if you know what I mean.
yeah, I know. Yo, guys, I'm about to head out and everything like that. It was nice talking to all y'all. So peace to all y'all.
Appreciate you coming on. Sure thing, sure thing. Until next time.
Anytime.
All right.
All right.
So and yeah, that whole thing, sex tourism goes both ways when it comes to the genders. I mean, it's not just what is alleged when it comes to the guys or what is come to a particular demographic. Because like we were mentioning before, I mean, either North American white guys and European guys have been doing that too. So it's not reserved for one gender or a demographic because the women do that too. I remember a few years back, I came across a video on Facebook. That's back when I was using Facebook more, of this Canadian woman that was talking about how much she was this overweight, I mean, heavy set Canadian woman that was talking about how much she had a love for Jamaica, and she had a tattoo of the island on her even, and she went from English to speaking a little bit of patois because she was familiar with it. But she was complaining in the video about when she goes down there, then she has to deal with a lot of beggars, and they want her to give the locals want her to give her something, or they're always asking her for money or for if they could donate something to them, and she ends up giving some of her own possessions to them. But why is she down there for? Because apparently she goes there often, and apparently it's not just to go to the beach. I don't think that's what it is. There's something else going on. That she's like a heavy-set Canadian that loves to go to Jamaica. And I wonder what that's about. So it's kind of like the whole how Fat Becky got her group back. It seemed to be kind of like more of that. I mean, it was it was this heavy-set white woman going to Jamaica to apparently to get together with somebody, but she didn't like the fact that people will ask her for money or for donations or things like that. Well, what are you doing down there? Therefore, I mean, you don't like people.
Absolutely.
You don't ask, you don't like it. Somebody asks you for money, and what do you go to Jamaica so much for? I mean, there must be something. There must be something, and most likely, she is one of these sex tourists because the women do that shit too.
Absolutely. It's like what you were just saying, Ramon. It's like here in the States, right? If we ran past a guy who was constantly complaining about women after we caught him on this strip and that strip is known for prostitution, more than likely me and you would ask him, man, why do you keep being over here? And you complaining about them asking you for money all the time.
Yeah,
Why are you over here? We know why you're over there. That's a rhetorical question. We know why you're over here, and it's
yeah,
and it's no different from, yeah, it's from a lot of these women. Like I saw a heavy set white American woman who was marrying some poor African guy from the continent, and,
hmm
yeah, like that's pretty much what it is, man. People, but you know how it goes in the States. Women are good, men are evil. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
that's
It's all there is that presupposition and that a woman can never do anything wrong, and men are the source of all evil. So that's what we're dealing with. It's unfortunate, but that's our reality here.
absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, it's a lot of these women that are doing that, and but everything and a lot and they never pay any attention to the guys that are not going, for sex tourism. These are guys that are maybe going like, man, I really would love a significant other. And you can tell those guys right away because some of these guys are not coming back to the States. They're staying, in Colombia. They're staying in Brazil. They're staying in the
Right.
DR, and they're taking their time to learn the culture of the island, or learn the culture of Latin America, and learn how to speak Espanol, or learn how to speak whatever language in whatever country that they're visiting. This one guy I saw, he was learning how to speak Brazilian Portuguese. He was not
hmm
coming back to the United States. He said he hated the culture on what the United States is, and he didn't
hmm
want to come back. He said he'll come back to visit with his wife, but he didn't want to come back.
Mm.
No, and I understand that. I understand that part. If it works better for them to reside in the other country, if they can work something out, if there's somebody who can like set up a business of if the person is on a retirement, living on a pension or something like that, that allows them to afford being able to live in the other country, then by all means, they should be able to unplug from the from the North American matrix. So I wouldn't hold it against them. Nothing wrong with that. But as long as they do understand what it requires, and they do things properly, and they get their visa, and they can legally stay in the other country, and they get themselves a good person to be with, and hey, it's all good. It's all good as long as they do the thing properly. But it's understandable. It's understandable. As somebody who is from the islands, I can understand why somebody would want to move to a tropical island and being able to enjoy themselves. I can totally understand it. So there is nothing wrong with it. But as long as they do it for the right reasons, and they're not going to another country just because they're trying to exploit somebody's situation, because they open themselves up to get played, to be taken for a ride. Hmm
Absolutely. And what you were just saying about as long as they're doing it for the right reasons, because if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, it doesn't matter whether you're in the States or whether you're on the islands or whether you're in, different continents, there's going to be drama that follows behind that. It always
Yes.
does. And, you're going to find yourself in some trouble. So, like, but for the brothers, I just saw one brother who married his wife in Colombia and brought her back to the States. And yeah, so you do have like, but you have to be careful with a lot of things what we're talking about, because Eddie Murphy warned us about this on Raw back in 1986. Miss Fufu from Africa with the bone in her nose. He told us about this. So
Yes.
I'm an
Yeah.
American woman, Eddie. I deserve what's coming to me. He told us about this. So it's certain people you have to be careful, because it is a risk bringing your wife back, because she could be influenced by what's going on in America. Because women being able to do what men do without the responsibility is enticing to women. It's
Hmm.
enticing at first. The effects don't show until later, so they realize how much responsibility they have, so they realize that they're going to be held accountable for certain things, and so they realize everything is going to fall on them. That's when they don't like it anymore, and that's why you see some women that are hardcore feminists starting to crack, and they're speaking out against it now, because they realize in these tough times, you and I can defend ourselves, Ramon. They
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
They cannot. And you got, when you got, with this inflation and the way that the economy is plummeted here in the States, you got people resort back to, as human beings, we're animals, and people resort back to what they know when they feel desperate. So, what does animals do when they hunt in the wild and they're looking for food? They try to find someone who's weak, someone who they feel that's injured, or someone who's sick,
Yeah.
and to eat. And that's exactly what human beings do. Now you got these guys out here that they're looking for money, and if they want to break into somebody's house, they're hoping this will. They're scoping out houses for women, and they realize, after a week of scoping it out, oh, she lives by herself. There's no man here.
Yeah.
She's going to be an easy target. And the fact that they can't fix things, they don't know what to do when certain things go wrong in the house. They don't know what to do if it's a situation where, like, cars are breaking down, or if they can't, it's an emergency, anything, and the pressure is starting to crack. And one of the reasons that the pressure is starting to crack even more is because they realize less and less men are caring. And the reason less and less men are caring is because of this narrative that's been pushed for so long, that women don't need men, and women and men are demonic, and we're evil, to the point now that men are only concerned for themselves.
Yes. Yes. I mean, and it's something that they should be able to reconsider, kind of like genuinely be more into their feminine energy, and that will attract to them a good dude that they could have an actual relationship and bring balance to things, because the women like that go on and on about how strong and independent that they are, and men ain't shit, and that talk like that, those women are out of balance, and eventually they get tired. They want to do everything by themselves, and they're so empowered, but a lot of these women are getting tired as they get older, and they are putting all this stress on themselves, and they don't have somebody to share the load with, and that's something that they could really end up bitter on later on. But that's work that they have to do for themselves, and maybe if it means getting some counseling, getting some therapy, then they should be doing that before it's too late. Because by nature, but naturally, men and women are not supposed to be apart from each other, and definitely not fighting. Feminism, this hardcore radical feminism, has brought a sense of imbalance when it comes to relationships, and people not really liking people of the opposite genders, of the human counterparts, not wanting to be around each other and just disliking each other. That's not the natural order of things. It really isn't. It's never been the natural order of things. But with this radical feminism, no, not just equality feminism. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this radical feminism that teaches women to see themselves as a perennial victims. If they are in the vicinity of a man, they are automatically a victim of a toxic masculine patriarch, and all of the usual buzzwords that they like to use that are not true to begin with.
Yeah, and I didn't get a chance to speak to you earlier. I'm gonna see if I can find this video because I wasn't familiar with this guy, but I hopped on his panel and I had a few words for Cynthia G, who was on there, and like what you're saying, the funny thing about it is that therapists are gonna have to start asking these questions when a lot of these women check themselves in. Where did this feminist mindset start? And I bet you, I can bet you $100 that a lot of these women in the future are going to be saying it started with these YouTube channels.
And they're gonna be blaming the men. They're gonna be blaming the yeah. Yeah, but there are gonna be maybe referring to these female content creators that are promoting a lot of the division. They are continuing the division. They're just doing it on YouTube, the same division and continuing the gender war that has already been going on for a long time. But the newer generation, the younger generations, are learning it from the content creators on platforms like YouTube and now TikToxic, as is the way that somebody like Chantel calls it, which is true, TikToxic, because I don't check out TikTok, but when she says that it's TikToxic, I mean, I'll take her word for it, because I mean, some of those videos do get on Instagram, and it's always saying something overly inflammatory and something a real put down to men, or some stupid dance. That's really what TikTok is. So I don't bother with it.
Well, believe it or not, there are not a lot, but there are some positive stuff on TikTok. It's just that you got all these people, they get a smartphone and automatically they are a celebrity, or they think they're a celebrity, and they come up and they say whatever they want to talk about, but it's just showing their ignorance.
But you know what's crazy about that, guys, is that me, myself, Jose, you, Ramon, we're naturally people with common sense and some type of intelligence. Therefore, it's just something in our mind that tells us when it comes to stuff like that with TikTok that we don't want to watch it. And to confirm that, I actually saw a video of a guy who was saying that China owns TikTok, and China makes sure the algorithms from what they watch on TikTok in China and what they watch on TikTok in the United States are very different. On the algorithm on TikTok in China, they watch very educational videos and videos to inspire the young men in China to keep being entrepreneurs and finding ways to create something or build something or
Yes.
advance. And also different videos like stuff like that. When in TikTok, the only thing here in the United States get promoted is ignorance and foolishness.
Yeah, the ratchetness and stupidity and hatred and all negative, all of this negative shit. I don't bother with it. I don't want to bother with TikToxic because that's exactly what it is. I mean, and some of those videos do filter into Instagram, and I just don't like it. Too many dance videos, stupid dances, and I don't like it. Even if the women on these little 5 second videos are cute and all of that, but they're always doing some stupid dance or they're doing just something but toxic. So I don't bother. I just don't bother with it. I don't like it, and just a lot of ignorance, like you were saying. So I totally understand. I totally believe what you were saying about how it is in China versus how it is over here. Over here, they leave the ignorance for us over here. But they're not going to have that in China. Yeah, it better be a tool for promoting something more positive for the people. I mean, can't be mad at them for that.
And the sad thing about it is, with everything that's going on, um, some of these women, and I explained this to Morena, it's a difference between being dumb and just being outright evil. A person can be dumb because they're misled and they can cause damage. And you can say, you're dumb. You didn't realize what you was doing.
Yeah.
Now, because that person, once they come to realization, they can say, oh, I apologize, or I was misled in the wrong direction. Versus someone that is very intelligent, knows exactly what they're doing, like a Cynthia G, and are very calculative. That, in my book, is an evil person. Because
Yeah.
you're purposely doing this for your own financial gain, for your own monetary gain, like the Sinjis, the Christies, the Paris Milans, the Real Talk with Yannis, the Michaela Pink. Well, she's in handcuffs now, but the Michaela Pinks, the uh Jesus Christ, the Lexus Exodus, the Mahogany Pinks. All of you people are just outright evil because you decided to sacrifice future relationships for young black girls with men for your own monetary gain. And you're purposely misleading these young girls down a path just so a few of you can come up and the rest of them will be left with a life with misery. Because you're not even telling them when to date out, to go be feminine or anything else. And a lot of these women think that they can take this stuff into other communities, and they're sadly mistaken. Now, some of them, like, well, the most men that a lot of black American women will mostly date will probably be Latin men because they're adjacent to our communities. But either it's only going to be one or two things. Either they're going to find themselves by themselves, or they're going to have
Right.
that I spoke with, who
You're cutting out a little bit. Yeah, we can't hear you. You're cutting out.
If he's on the road, maybe he's entering an area where the Wi-Fi signal it's a little weak.
Yeah, because he could be just on a signal. Yeah. What's up? He could be on a spot where maybe the coverage isn't so good. So
can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. It's just like you cut out, and so maybe if you can go over there.
Yeah. I was just going to say that, these women are going to have to, if they date out, and possibly most of these women, at least where I was growing up, if women do date out, they date Latin men because our communities are adjacent. But when you're dealing with men of other cultures, you cannot take this crap over there because either one or two things going to happen. Either you're going to find yourself by yourself, or you're going to have to learn your femininity real quick because it's not going to be tolerated in other communities where their family structure is still intact and the men have a stronghold.
Yeah. No, definitely not, because that whole notion that they can boss the man around. Most other cultures don't go for that, and these women do need to understand that. I mean, that may work for them here in the States, or maybe in Western Europe that might happen to a degree. But then the rest of the world, that whole notion that a woman is gonna be bossing around the man and treating him like a bitch and things like that, that's just not gonna work. It's extremely unlikely that it's gonna work. Definitely with somebody who is like Arab, Middle Eastern, something like that.
Oh hell no!
In a
Hell
extreme
no!
example, I mean, yeah, that's just not gonna cut it. That's not gonna happen.
one of the, like I and, this is only one example, and it's a celebrity, and they don't usually speak for most people, but Janet Jackson, Janet Jackson's husband is Middle Eastern, and he
Yeah.
didn't give a damn that was Janet Jackson when it came to taking them to court, and when it came to his child. He said, "I got money to flush down the toilet. We can go
Yeah.
back and forth for years with this. It's going to either be my way or the highway. You got Jackson 5 money. I got oil rig money."
Yeah. I mean, he could outbid her at any time, and it was. I don't know. It's unfortunate because I mean, Janet Jackson is like my favorite woman in the world, and something that I have observed about her is that she was never. She could seem like she could be a one man's woman, but at the same time she couldn't keep certain commitments to themselves and to herself. And she was with the Hispanic dudes for a long time. They knew each other for a long time, and they seemed to be very stable with each other. And then after that, she was with Jermaine Dupri for a number of years. It was like 8 years or something like that. So she could stay. She could stay on a relationship for a long time. But when it comes to getting married and actually settling down or something like that, for some reason, it doesn't work so well with her. And then she got together with I don't know if he was from Qatar, something like that, and it seemed like the younger dude, younger than her, it seemed like they were doing okay, but it didn't last long. She never really talked about it because she doesn't do interviews like that anymore. Uh, so I do remember coming across the little video in which she said, "I'm separated from my husband," and that's all she said. And she never gave explanations. I'm sure that people would have liked to know what happened, but no. I mean, for the time that it was, they did have the relationship, and she got a son out of it, and she has her own money, and she gets some money from the guy. I guess we don't know. We don't know what happened there because she just doesn't talk about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember that was a few years back, and back in from when they were together. That was from like 2010 until 2016 or something like that. 2016,
Yep,
2017, something
yep.
like
They,
that. Yep.
they was together for a while.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what might have taken place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought. Of course, I love Janet Jackson. I loved the music, growing up. But and that's why a lot of these women are going to remain single because some of these women are addicted to um running the show, and
Hmm.
they're not going to want to get with another man's program. And some of them, they can't change who they are. They may lie and they may fool that man for a while, but
Yeah.
eventually it's going to get tiring for them because they're so used to doing things their way.
Yeah,
And
they're going to be putting up a performance, and they're only going to be able to act a certain way for a period of time, but eventually the truth is going to start to come out. Yeah, but go on.
yep, that's all I was going to say. And that's why you see some of these women get on here and they I've dated Latin men, I've dated Arab men. Okay, then okay, where are they? Where are they now?
Yeah.
Can you explain what happened? But they never go into detail with that.
No. And some of them go on and on talking about that, about all of the rich men of other cultures and races that they have dated, but maybe they'll mention something about somebody proposing to them, but them turning them down, which is usually a lie. That's just cap. What was it, Jose?
Yeah, I mean, look, I remember what the late Kevin Samuel said about some of these women. I mean, get a dog and die alone, because the
Yeah.
problem is they don't want to, they want to be the captains of the ship. They want to be in charge and do everything like that. They are in charge of everything, but yet when it comes to things that matter, they really don't know much about anything.
Mm-hmm. Hey, what's going on, Denise? I mean, you're up at this time. Did you get your nap? Because
Shout out to
yeah,
my sister Denise.
Wow.
yeah. What's up? I mean, you can come up on the panel for a little bit. I'm not gonna be staying too much longer, but if you want to, you can click the link still.
And the crazy thing is, you would think throughout everything and Kevin Samuel's impact and us having these conversations online, you would think that some people would, look into changing their ways. But no. A lot of these people have just doubled down on the foolishness.
Yeah. And they keep giving the passport bros more of a reason to wanna go somewhere else. I mean, at least the ones that will actually do it, because we already went over about how there are these guys that keep going on and on about they're gonna be getting their passports, but they don't actually do it, and because they're really not going anywhere. So yeah, the real passport bros, the ones that actually do it. Mm-hmm.
For some people, this is just entertainment,
Yeah.
online. But then I know, me being a Black American man here in the United States, I know it's just, as much as I hate to say it, some Black men are just used to being talked down to,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the sad thing about it. Because when I confronted Cynthia G, which is what bothers me more than some of these divestors and feminists and all of these other people, is that they have these simps that back them up, which is worse than dealing with them, individually. Is these male simps that back them up. Had this guy saying that, well, we're trying to build. How could you build with someone that said they want to abort Black male babies? You can't build.
Yeah. That was the Cynthia G blunder that is gonna that is gonna be haunting her for a long time, if not the rest of her days. And something that I keep saying, she's comfortable saying that because there is always gonna be a dude that is gonna wanna be with her. But I keep saying, let's say that she's only with Black men. Maybe she's only with Black men. If Black men in general will have the discipline to not give her dick when they meet her, I'm sure that she's gonna change her tune. I mean, that I think will help. But I'm sure that she's still gonna be able to get together with some dude he's not gonna care about the fact that she has talked about how she will want for Black men to be aborted, and she's not gonna care about none of that. and they should care. They should care and get the discipline to not give her any kind of attention, any kind of affection, and actually let her feel really lonely because she's not getting attention from the men that she's talking shit about.
Yeah,
I mean,
but see, that's the thing. As much as they hate the Dusties, she's happy that the Dusties are not going to go anywhere, because the Dusties is who she'll revert back to when no one else wants her.
Yeah, Denise. We talked about all of it. What you mentioning that they want to go to certain specific countries, and they think that there are going to be some of them that want to hook up. We went over that. And what you're talking about, what you say, many go over to Latin America with an erroneous perception that we're all sweet and submissive. There is a 50% chance you'll encounter a masculine Latinas as well. They need to get women that are this. Okay. No, but I was talking about that at the beginning of the stream. That there are instances and there are guys that they want to go specifically to places like the Dominican Republic, Colombia, and Brazil. Those are like the three countries that they're always talking about, and they want to go there because allegedly, according to them, the women are so submissive. They're gonna be so submissive and so cooperative. But these are the same guys that they don't have the passports to begin with. They're not going anywhere. I mean, they're just sitting. They're just sitting up on YouTube talking about that they're about to get the passports, and they're about to get the passports. But to be able to travel at all, they need to actually get the passports, and they don't even have that. I said it a while back. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well, excuse me. Well, as a person that I actually have visited 6 countries. Out of the 6 countries, 5 of them were in Latin America. And at least I can say this much. I did try to learn a little bit about the culture. So therefore I don't, stick out like a sore thumb, and I had a good time in those countries.
No, because you were there, you were visiting, and you were more interested into what the country itself had to offer, what you could experience, what you could enjoy there. You weren't necessarily going down there for a cheap hookup.
No.
Yeah. No, because if you go there with that mentality and you go there with that energy, well, then you're more likely to have a good time because you're not doing creepy shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so Denise was saying, even though I dislike Cynthia G's platform and narrative, there is some truth to what she says. The problem with her is that she's talking about a pocket of black men, not the whole group of black men. But Denise, I used to watch her, and I'm telling you, she may be, to you, she's only talking about a pocket of black men, but she always words it as black men, period, meaning most or all of them. So that's something that could be objected about, because she doesn't make a clarification that she's talking about a certain faction or a pocket of black men. No, she says black men, just says that, meaning all of them or majority of them. So if you want a Latina wife, I will advise Honduras, Southern Mexico, El Salvador, and Guatemala. Nothing else. Okay.
No.
Yeah, I would like to visit Honduras. I know that Honduras has some really pretty ladies over there, but I would like to see the country also. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, the last country I visited was Mexico, and that was 3 years ago, and I had a wonderful time. Of course,
Yeah.
I traveled with a group, so it was a different thing altogether. I mean, but nevertheless, I did enjoy, the people I was with. I enjoyed the culture. I enjoyed the food. I actually ate some Mexican food that makes the Mexican food over here taste like crap because it's not real Mexican food.
No, but the so-called Mexican food over here might be uh, made by a North American company that they don't know how it is, and it will be maybe too bland. So, yeah. Okay, so then he says, no, she's horrible because she's taking the experience of the trashy ladies that pick dusties and brushing it into the good black men none of these women are dealing with. Cringe. Yeah. And the problem is that from what I have observed, she was able to grow her subscriber base by doing all this bashing. I mean, that's not always what she was doing. I assure you. I know this. That's not what she was doing all the time. And there is DOD. This guy DOD. He keeps exposing it because she's saying something, bashing black men about something, and then she brings up an older video in which she was singing a very different tune. Yeah. Latinas here are just the same as American women, to be honest. I've seen the craziest thing. No, I'm sure Hispanic American women. I'm not trying to be with any of them. I'm not trying to be involved with any of them. If I talk to an Hispanic or Latina, I would rather have her from wherever she's actually from. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how Cynthia G is still allowed on YouTube. Yet Andrew Tate has been censored. That's the thing. That's the thing. That censor is one-sided. The censoring on YouTube is very one-sided, and I don't talk reckless by nature as it is, but I know that if I were to talk a little bit reckless and say something about women, even though there were some truth to it, I could be censored too. And any of us guys here will be censored too. It will be unfortunate, but yeah.
Hey guys, I'm still here. I'm just at a truck stop real quick. I'll be joining back in 1 second.
All right.
Yeah.
Sure thing. And between the Cholas, Chicanas, the Puerto Ricans, and the rest, they are the most violent depiction and lowest form of Latinas, women, and it's shameful. Well, the Puerto Rican, you might be talking about diasporans that are born and raised in the United States. I mean, because okay, not all the islanders are saints when it comes to the Puerto Rican females, but what you're talking about the Puerto Ricans, quote unquote, you might be talking about diasporans and born and raised in the States, and yeah. There are, unfortunately, some of them are hood. They're hood rats too. They just have Spanish names, but they're hood rats also. It's unfortunate, but it seems like some of them are.
Okay. Well, all I can say is no comment.
Yeah, you better. You're in New York. You're in New York. You better.
No, because all I'm going to say is no comment.
Okay.
And keep it moving.
Yeah. All right. You can pick the Puerto Rican people, women we have on the island, and they don't even compare to these trashy women. I'm sure, because I mean the most aggressive of the islander Puerto Ricans, they're still gonna be somewhat feminine. They're still gonna remain somewhat more feminine than the possible studs. There are going to be a lot of studs here in the States, and I find that I'm not attracted to that. I would avoid them.
Well, all I'm going to say is no comment.
Yeah. Yeah.
No comment.
Mm-hmm.
Because I happen to be a New Rican, so therefore, no comment.
Yeah. No, I know. You have to be careful. You have to be careful with what you say there. Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes, I mean, look, you'll be amazed how certain things you say, and and people can be, certain, people could be offended. That's why I said no comment
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
just leave it alone.
Yes. The most aggressive women I met in Puerto Rico have been married to the same dude since they're 17 and are now almost 40. Well, maybe not being married but that long, but at least they're a little bit, they're not jumping around, hoping, riding the rooster carousel like that. And they still cook, clean, hide, and raise children, do homework with their kids. Yeah, 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 the Islanders can still do those things. Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
interesting point.
Yes, yes. Well, I mean, I don't know how much. I know that Rakim is in the middle of something, but I do need to step out. I need to get some sleep.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Well, as always, Ramon, is thank you very much for being very gracious, allowing me on your platform. Um, I just want to let everybody know that if you have not done so, please subscribe to the Introvert Boricua. He does bring interesting topics, so I'm gonna ask if you have not done so, please subscribe, like, and set the notification to all. So therefore, whenever he does produce any sort of content, you will have the opportunity to either catch it live or catch it on the playback. Tomorrow, or actually, it's now today. I'm
mhm.
going to be doing a short stream regarding the memory of my father. Today marks 10 years that my father passed away. So I'm,
Ah,
so
oh, I
I'm going to
see.
be doing a short stream in his memory.
Oh, I see. I see. Got you. Got you.
So
All right.
I'll be
Mhm.
doing it at 8 o'clock your time, which is 9 o'clock my time. Um, just a human twist, a story regarding the type of person my father was.
All right. All right. Well, because of the time, and I do need to get some sleep. So I'm not gonna be having a backstage this time. So I'm just gonna be ending the broadcast once again. Don Jose, I appreciate you being on the panel, and also shout out to Rakim. I don't know if you can hear me, but
Yep, I can hear you guys. I'm sorry. I'm getting diesel fuel at the truck stop. I know you're about to end the live, Ramon. I just want to say shout out to you once again. Thank you for allowing me up on your platform. And with this situation with the passport bros, a lot of brothers just need to learn to be quiet. Whatever you're doing, if you're out and you're tricking, you need to just keep that to yourself, because not only are you a trick, but you are a trick that's a black male, which makes it 10 times as worse in other people's eyes. So they're going to come at you, and they're going to use that as a reason to try to brush all black men that way, and use that as for they're going to use that for content for more views. And that's exactly what we're seeing. And usually those are brothers that are not, never been anywhere, happy to be seen, happy to be getting some type of attention that they felt that they've never gotten. And they, just want the whole world to know. And that's not how it goes. So,
yeah.
to those guys, if you're going to move like that, move in silence. Me, if I do traveling, I'm the type of person that I'm interested in the culture. Um, I'm the type of person that I'm interested in the customs and different things like that. And if I happen to meet a significant other while I'm there, then I meet somebody while I'm there. Not on no, not on no tricking stuff or nothing like that. But
Yeah.
just for a regular woman. But other than that, it's not wise for brothers to put this out there, because now you have a lot of people. You're going to be attacked, and they're going to try to disparage you and make you look like you're the biggest creep and you're the biggest sexual deviant in the
Yeah.
whole world. When you got when you got men from Canada and European men from Canada and European men from the States just going into some of these other countries and parts of the island that's creating whole brothels and prophetizing off of you know pimping out some of these women in countries in the island, but that's not even spoken about at all.
Yeah, yeah. No, and definitely, I was talking about it earlier in on the stream that there is nothing wrong with if somebody's traveling and in an organic manner they meet somebody, they talk to somebody, they meet a woman, and they happen to hit it off and click and getting to know each other, and it happens organically by chance. There is nothing wrong with it. But if they're gonna be going, there are certain times that are gonna be going and traveling. If they do it for what they call quote unquote tricking, I mean they're playing themselves because if they just wanna trick on some chick to get some ass, they can do that in the States. They can do that in the States. They don't need to get on a plane to do it somewhere else. But then again, I mean, if we're talking about the beauty of the woman, there is no real comparison. I understand that part, but if they do it and they actually want to know about the place that they're visiting and they want to have the experience, and it just happens that meeting a woman adds to that experience, then that's fine. That's fine, but do it for the right reasons, not because they're trying to exploit somebody. That's what I will never agree with.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah. So, guys, Don Jose, Hakeem, I appreciate you guys being on the panel. Also, a shout out to Don Armando who was here earlier, and also Morena and Gigi, and who was on the panel briefly before they had to step out, and also to whoever is still watching, thank you, and hit the like and subscribe. Also check out the Jose Negron's channel on Common Sense with Jose Negron, and also the 18 Letters channel. Also our friend Denise Gonzalez. She has a channel called Latin Explaining with Denise Gonzalez, in which she has content, relevant content, informative content. Go and check it out. Also subscribe to her channel and hit the notification bell for all updates. And now we have said that, Don Jose and Rakim, thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining on the panel. I look forward to the next one. I have to think of another subject. So something will come to me, but I'm gonna be ending the stream now because I do need to get some sleep.
Okay, well, take care, Ramon, and be safe. And shout out to everyone still watching the stream and on the chat. Good night.
Have a good night, Don Jose. Appreciate
You
it.
too. Okay, bye.